So I want to talk about the difference between taking ownership of a problem. I'm having a mast cell reaction. I don't know if you can see from electrolytes. I like taking electrolytes because I can't drink the tap water without it. But it seems to, I don't know if it's the electrolytes or something else, but and I'm on H1 or H2. I'm on heavy doses of Claritin and Pepsid. So imagine if I wasn't on it. But like, I don't know if you can see, it looks like a sunburn or something, but it's just a mast cell reaction. Hopefully it doesn't get worse. But so the difference between taking responsibility for a problem, taking ownership of a problem, and being generous and charitable, they're two very different things, but they can seem similar on the surface. And I've always had this misunderstanding my whole life, because in my family, the parents did not take responsibility for the kids in the slightest because they don't have the ability because of their mental illness. And so the kids were basically seen as charity cases. Imagine how insane this is. You have a child or that is depends on you for his survival, and instead of taking ownership of providing his food, his housing that works for him, food that works for him, medical care, clothing, everything that a kid needs to grow up into a productive adult, you see your kid as a charity case and an expensive problem to deal with, and a charity case. Can you imagine what kind of problems that would lead to? Because I was trying to understand, like, why growing up, why was food so hard to get, and clothing, it was just so hard to get food, clothing. Why was the homes always so unpleasant and so dirty and unpleasant and toxic? And I realized it's the parents weren't taking responsibility. Like, the mother would try to make the father take responsibility, the father would try to take make the mother responsible, and it was like a diffusion of responsibility, and actually no one was in charge of the family, and no one was taking responsibility. So that explains why I was basically a feral child. And then I'm still experiencing this problem today. I'm trying to get my father to take responsibility. So of my situation I find myself in. I didn't choose to be in this situation. I chose. Well, I don't get to choose anything about my future. Or very limited, because every time I made a choice and brought it to him with a plan, it was treated, instead of as an investment, it was treated as like a charity. Imagine the framework of treating your kid. Imagine the mindset: treating your kid who depends on you for his survival, seeing him as a charity. Can you imagine? It's similar to, like, I used to be against giving homeless people money, or giving beggars money. But these days I think it's actually, it's probably a humanitarian thing. I probably would these days if I have money. I used to be completely against it. But on philosophical grounds, these days I think it's kind of a compassionate thing to do, probably. But if you have cash, But it's also risky. But let's see. But can you imagine that dynamic of giving a homeless person some money because they say they're starving, when they're probably going to buy drugs or something, and they need the drugs. They actually biologically need the fentanyl or whatever they're taking. I talked to a lot of drug addicts when I was in jail, and I learned just how horrible it is to be addicted to these drugs. But so really, like, you shouldn't care if they're going to spend it on drugs or food. They're going to spend it on whatever they need. It's up to them to decide what they need. But imagine if the homeless came up to me and told me they need money for food, and I give them some food money, and the relationship's over at that point. I don't plan on, I'm not taking responsibility for feeding that person until they're able to feed themselves. Do you see the difference? But imagine treating your kid that way, or treating a family member that way. Because what that person actually needs is to get off the streets, and feed themselves in a financially sustainable manner. They don't need. I mean, they have immediate problems, and they have the actual systemic problem with their situation. They don't live any. Maybe they're disabled, et cetera, et cetera. So, and that's why the free market, and that's why I'm against government welfare, and I'm for the free market and strong families, because families are supposed to solve these problems for people, not the government. And it's a deflection of responsibility when my mother told me to go to a homeless shelter or something, or try to send me to jail. It's like, I'm not going to deal with this. We're going to use the government to get rid of you. We're going to use the government to get rid of this problem temporarily. But really, it just creates bigger problems. I might have problems getting employed now because of that arrest on my record, and it's going to cost me thousands and thousands of dollars to clear my arrest record. Because just having been arrested, your name goes into a database, and it'll show up on background checks. So I'm gonna have to explain that probably at some point, and it's going to cost a lot of money to fix that. So they're giving me more expensive problems, and I realize that's what these narcissists do, is they'll just layer on the problems onto you until it's crippling. And that's what they've been doing to me my whole life. The first problem was the living in the home was not adequate, and then they give me a drug injury, a psychiatric drug injury as a child, and then I'm forced to drop out of high school. Let's keep layering on more problems. Then they give me a broken down car that doesn't work, and let's keep laying more problems on. And so I drop out of high school. Let's layer on some more problems. So they're just not taking responsibility, and just layering on more baggage and more problems onto my life, more garbage onto me, literally putting their filth onto me, their mental illness onto me. And they've been doing this for 30 years, and that's why I'm homeless. I guess I'm living in this hotel, not really living here, just surviving, starving, 4 days no food now. There's no drinking water. I have no way to get out of the situation. I'm living under the thumb of my mentally ill, senile, narcissist father who's 71 years old, and he chose to relocate the family to take a job as a prison guard. He enjoys that kind of work. He's a prison guard. He enjoys the power dynamic, the unfair power dynamic, and it's very strange, very mentally ill. And he's telling me I'm a threat, and he's going to make sure I become a threat to him. I don't know if he means physically, because I've never laid a finger on these people. Because I think I defended myself from an attack once when my father. I think what this is all about, they've spent tens of thousands of dollars to avoid sharing their home with me. Can you imagine? Like, I don't smell. I have very high standards for hygiene, so I would imagine, I would understand if I was smelly or something, right? Or if I had some sort of behavioral problem or something, I'm a 40-year-old man, I didn't choose to be in this situation, and but they spent tens of thousands of dollars. It's probably more like $60,000 totally. Imagine if they just give me that money and let me invest it and let me live in their house. Can you imagine where we'd be now? So it's not about the needs of the individual. It's a selfish, I'm going to use the government to solve this problem. I'm going to use money to solve this problem. I'm not going to listen. If they refuse to listen to me, I've told them I need to get moved into this hotel room. And I've given them exact specifications on what I need to do that. And I didn't choose to be broke, man. I never chose to be broke. I always chose to have lots of money. And that's why I chose to study computers. And because in IT, it pays a lot, And it's not very expensive to work in IT. You can have some disposable income to invest, to save. But instead of being forced into these into the workforce and all below my potential outside my field and all these weird workarounds, and I'm getting old, and it's just, I can't believe they don't want to support me to even go back trucking. I'm begging them to please let me go back trucking, and they love it when I beg. They love that, but they see me as a charity case. That's why I'm only getting $200 a week here for food, water, and household supplies and medicine. I can't live on that. I mean, maybe in the 1970s that was enough, but $200 a week is not enough. So, especially when you can't cook. I mean, if I could store food and cook, maybe we can get the cost. And I was filtering tap water. Maybe we get the cost down to something like that. Probably, maybe. I don't think so though. Still think it's too low. So I'm being starved here. I'm being tortured by my narcissist father, mentally ill, narcissist personality disorder, cluster B personality disorder, and he's treating me like a beggar or like a homeless person instead of treating me like his son and an investment in the future in the next generation. And he's been doing this to me for 39 years, and that's why I have all these problems in my life. So it's absolutely ridiculous. And he's telling me I'm a narcissist and I'm the bad guy. He's trying to criminalize me, and ruin my life. If I get a felony, they're telling me they want to turn me into a felon. I'm not a criminal, so, but they're trying to figure out a way to criminalize me, and that would permanently ruin my future. And because I didn't realize the extent of this, but this country is basically a country of prisons. There's more per capita people incarcerated is way higher in this country than anywhere else in the developed world. Anywhere else, maybe China has more prisoners, but besides obviously North Korea and stuff. But it's disgusting. These people can't get jobs when they get out. They can't live normal lives. They're forced into the underclass because they have a felon, because they become convicted felons. And so that's not me. I'm not a criminal. I'm just trying to get healthy and go to college. I've been telling my family this for 20 years. Just got to get healthy and go to college. Oh, you want me to work that job for you? Okay, I'll try that. That doesn't pay enough. Okay, I'll try this one. Yeah, that doesn't pay enough either. I'll try this one. I can't stick with that one. That's not me. So I just tried all these fucking jobs out for my family, and I'm getting older and sicker, and my needs are more increasing, and they're still not listening. I just want to be done with these people. I want them out of my life. They're so fucking toxic. I don't want to ask them for anything ever again. I'm so sorry I ever asked them for anything. I'm really sorry I got medically injured. I wish I had taken that money and gone back trucking. I was just trying to get out of trucking. I just trying to go work and be who I am. I work in IT, but I guess I can't do that professionally for another 10 or 20 years. I don't know if those jobs will exist in 20 years, but so they've used up all of my useful, productive lifespan and working all these weird jobs for them, like beneath my potential, and they're putting their own mental garbage onto me, trying to tell me don't aim too high, because he's putting his British working class values on me, and he's cost me millions of dollars in lifetime earnings. If I just been supported in a normal middle class Californian family to go to college like everyone else who was interested in computers, who knows where I'd be today. So I've lost everything and never even had anything really, but everything I did have I lost. I'm just asking them to support me to go back doing trucking in a way that I can do sustainably without needing anything from anybody. And they have the ability to do that, and they're not providing as they have my entire life. This is why I had to drop out of high school. My father wasn't providing. My shoes ripped. I had to drop out of college. My car wasn't working for me. I had to drop out of college. The apartment wasn't working for me. I had to drop out of college. We just got to make things work for me. So there's no toxic environments, no substandard, half-ass. I'm not a hillbilly. So yeah, I made a video explaining I'm not a hillbilly. Yeah, I do things properly. So, if you're a professional, you have your own proper equipment and stuff. And especially if you have special nutritional needs and medical care and stuff that you need. I'm very disabled, but I can do trucking. There's nothing else I can do if I can get equipped to do that. If I can't get equipped to do trucking, then I can't do trucking. So I don't know why we're going like a circle here, but I mean, they've been torturing me with this $200 a week bullshit in this moldy room, trapped here for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I have a dental infection. I need a dentist, and this is just torture and abuse, and I don't know what the end game is here. I mean, I'm just trying to get healthy and go to college so I can live a normal life and be a productive member of society. Why can't I just do that like everyone else gets to do that? Why do I have to do all these weird workarounds? I don't understand. Like, when can I go to college? I dropped out of college 4 times for my family because there was a crisis every time. There was a financial crisis or something, and I had to go to China to get food. It's just so traumatic, all these traumatic experiences, always uprooting. I just need stability. I just got to get stable, just get moved in, settled in, and get my systems in place to go be nomadic. You don't just jump into nomadism. It's something you got to plan carefully. Otherwise, you get chewed up and spit out. I know from experience, so I just don't know why I'm not being taken seriously. And this is some kind of weird game I'm trapped in, and they're threatening to send me to jail. You can't just send me to jail because you don't like me, dude. So they're like looking on these videos to see if there's something I said that can be taken out of context and used against me. It's just this is just crazy. So fuck these people, these goddamn criminals that I come from, these goddamn narcissist criminals, selfish narcissists, sociopaths that I come from. And I hope to God it works out for me, but I don't. 4 days I get to eat 2 days a week, so they're trying to starve me out in here. It's just torture. This is abuse, and It's not taking responsibility. They're not taking responsibility for my situation I find myself, which I told them every step of the way that led me here. I warned them this is not a good idea. This is not smart. Support me to change trucks. Support me to get moved into the truck. You know, give me a room in your house. I've been begging for a room in their house for 10 years, ever since they made me homeless. Just clean the house up. Don't have any dogs. They don't have to have dogs. They don't have to have dogs in the house. You don't have to have a dirty house. You can have a clean house and live cleanly like everyone else. But I'm allergic to dogs, and they accumulate more dogs, almost like as a weapon I think that part of the reason they enjoy having dogs in the home is just because they know I don't like them. I really think that's, imagine the mental illness there. And I know they abuse their animals too, which is even more nasty. So yeah, just pleading, please let me just get moved into the hotel, go back trucking. It doesn't have to cost anybody anything. I can make a lot of money doing trucking. I can pay back anybody. But yeah, I didn't choose to be in this situation. I just need to start getting control of my health, get control of my sleep, get control of my housing, get control of my food. Just these basic things, and then get control of my resume for trucking, get all and my equipment and communications and all that. And it costs money. I had to throw all my things away to come up here because they didn't want me to rent a car. I asked them, please let me rent a car. I can't rent my own car. I don't have a credit card. They didn't want me to rent a car, so I had to throw all my stuff away to come up here. And they told me not to come up here, but I don't have anywhere to go. Where am I supposed to go? So this is just a crazy situation. I didn't ask to be in this situation. I chose to, make lots of money and stuff. I just didn't know how to learn how to be poor and homeless and all these things. These are not things I care about. So, but yeah, I'll do that for my family. I'll go back trucking, and I just won't talk to them ever again. I promise to them. I promise. I just want to go back trucking and just leave these monsters alone. Please just let me go back trucking. But they're not letting me do that. They're just wasting my time here, using up the last of my 30s. So shame on these people.